The galaxy abandoned a dying Titan ship until a human mechanic rebuilt it into a weapon. The stars were silent in this corner of space. No planets, no colonies, no patrol ships, only darkness stretching endlessly in every direction. Best, in that emptiness drifted a shadow of a past era, a giant warship that had once been the pride of the galaxy, the Titan-class Aegis. Its hull was scarred and pitted from centuries of neglect. Rust crept along the edges where the protective energy fields had long since failed. The galaxy had abandoned it, left it to float in the void like a corpse forgotten by time. Breaths. And yet it was not entirely dead. Through the black emptiness, a small ship approached. It was nothing like the sleek military vessels of the empires. Its hull was patched in mismatched metal plates, some welded clumsily, some held together by stubborn bolts. Inside, a lone human sat at the controls, eyes bright with purpose and hands steady despite the ship's rattling engines. His name was Elias. Elias had heard stories of the Aegis. Old legends told of a ship so powerful it could turn the tide of wars alone. But the galaxy had moved on, leaving it behind as if it had never mattered. Most would have ignored it, passing by like another piece of space junk. Not Elias. Looks worse than the stories, he muttered, his voice low but determined. Let's see if it still has a heart. He docked his small ship on the Aegis's outer hull. The docking clamps groaned as they latched onto the massive vessel. The airlock door of the Titan, long unused and rusted, hesitated, then slowly creaked open under the pressure. Elias stepped inside, boots echoing against metal floors coated in dust. The interior smelled of ozone and decay. Broken wires hung from ceilings. Lights flickered weakly, powered only by residual energy in the ship's failing reactors. Alien symbols, long faded, lined the walls, remnants of a civilization that had built the ship for war and power. Elias ran his hand along the console. Psst. He could feel the faint hum of the ship beneath his fingers. It was alive, in some way. Fragile, weak, but alive. A flicker of a screen came to life. Data streams, fragmented and corrupted, blinked at him. Not dead. Not yet, he whispered. For hours he explored the Aegis. Most of its systems were offline, the navigation arrays were fried, the weapons offline, and the life support barely functional. But the AI core, though damaged, still responded to his presence. A soft, alien voice echoed in the empty corridors. Who enters? It asked, distorted and hesitant. I'm a mechanic, Elias said. I fix things other people give up on. There was a pause. Then, with a crackle, the AI responded, Mechanic not recognized. Access limited. Elias smiled. We'll change that. He set to work. With human hands and human ingenuity, he began the impossible. Breath. Using scrap from his small ship, components scavenged from broken panels, and his knowledge of alien tech, he started to bring the Aegis back to life. Every spark of energy he restored felt like a heartbeat returning. Breaths. Hours turned into days. Elias ate little, slept less. He crawled through corridors and maintenance shafts, repairing circuits, patching broken conduits, and reprogramming the AI's corrupted logic. He was alone, yet he felt no fear. He was determined. Humans were not supposed to rebuild a ship like this. Breath. Yet here he was, proving the galaxy's doubt wrong. In the depths of the ship, he found the weapons array, a series of massive energy cannons that had been the envy of every empire. They were incomplete, damaged, and considered unusable. But Elias saw them differently. Where others saw decay, he saw potential. Using a mix of human intuition and daring improvisation, he began the reconstruction. He reconnected power lines, rewrote alien code he'd barely understood, and crafted missing components by hand. Every failure only taught him more. Every obstacle only fueled his determination. At night, though the ship had no natural day or night, he would sit in the command chair watching the stars through the shattered viewport. He imagined the battles this ship had fought, the civilizations it had protected and destroyed. And he imagined the galaxy again underestimating humans. "You think you can do this?" the AI asked one evening, its voice uncertain, almost curious. "I don't think," Elias said. "I know." By the fifth day, minor systems were humming again. Lights flickered steadily. Gravity stabilized. Life support was functional. The AI, though still fragmented, began responding more coherently. "You, despair?" it asked. "Yes," Elias said simply. Breaths. "I fix what others abandon." The ship seemed to shiver, as if testing its own strength. It was awakening. In a hidden compartment deep in the lower hull, Elias found what he least expected, a prototype weapons system. Unlike anything currently in the galaxy, it had been abandoned, left behind because the empires deemed it too unpredictable, too powerful, too dangerous. The cannons were massive, capable of destroying entire fleets with a single strike. But the system was incomplete. Elias's mind raced. He could finish it. He could make it work, not just as a weapon, but as a symbol of human ingenuity. But first, he had to survive the immediate dangers. Broken hulls meant sudden decompression. Faulty circuits could fry him at any moment. Rogue security drones left over from centuries ago activated and nearly caught him. Every step he took was a gamble. Yet with every danger he adapted, thinking in ways no alien engineer would. He repaired a failing energy conduit by repurposing a fusion coil from his small ship, a solution no standard protocol suggested. He reprogrammed a security drone using human improvisation, turning it into an assistant instead of a threat. Slowly, the Aegis responded to him. For the first time in centuries, the Titan-class warship felt alive again. Elias paused in the main command hall, looking around at the glowing panels, the whirring engines, and the slowly opening weapon bays. He felt a strange pride, the kind that comes from creating something that should have been impossible. "This is only the beginning," he said, voice echoing through the empty corridors. "If the galaxy abandoned it, then it's mine to awaken." Outside, the void remained indifferent. Stars twinkled silently. No one noticed a lone human working miracles on a ship abandoned for centuries. But inside the Aegis, something profound was happening. The last heartbeat of a forgotten Titan stirred, powered by a human mechanic who refused to quit. Elias sat in the captain's chair, hands resting on the controls. He thought about what would come next. Rumors, perhaps, of the galaxy noticing a drifting ship waking from the dead. Please, send and destroy it. Empires laughing at the audacity of a human claiming what they abandoned. "Let them come!" He smiled, a small, confident human smile. Humans were underestimated. Desperation. Humans survived where others failed. And Elias knew one truth clearly. The galaxy would soon learn that leaving a human alone with a machine like this was a very dangerous mistake. For now, he rested only briefly. Tomorrow he would begin the real work, repairing the Titan's heart and awakening its full power. The Aegis was no longer just a relic. It was becoming a force the galaxy had never seen, all because one human refused to see a forgotten ship as hopeless. And in the silence of the void, as stars glimmered far away, a faint hum grew stronger. The Titan-class warship was alive again. And so was humanity's legend. The Aegis was alive, but only just. Its engines thrummed weakly. Lights flickered in long corridors, and the AI's voice was hesitant, still fragmented. Most would have given up here. Most would have left the ship to rot. Not Elias. He moved through the ship like a conductor through an orchestra, touching panels, rewiring circuits, and connecting systems in ways no alien engineer had imagined. He had no manual, no map, no guidance. He had only his mind, his hands, and his determination. That was enough. For the next several days, Elias focused on core systems. The navigation arrays were a tangled mess of broken circuits and fried processors. He worked carefully, stripping down damaged units, rewiring them with parts scavenged from the ship itself and a few from his small repair vessel. Every step was a puzzle. Every failure taught him something new. The AI watched him quietly, its voice more stable each day. Breaths. You, human, improvising, it said one morning, its tone slightly odd, brave in desperation.
I'm not improvising, Elias replied. I'm making it work.
Best, something your creators never imagined. The AI's hum of approval was low, almost musical. It was the first sign that it recognized Elias not as a mechanic, but as someone capable of commanding this ancient titan. As the days passed, Elias repaired the life support systems, ensuring the ship could sustain not just him but an entire crew if needed. He stabilized the gravity fields, fixed oxygen recyclers, and reinforced the hull where corrosion had eaten away centuries of metal. But the heart of the work, the weapons systems, remained unfinished. The ship's primary cannons, capable of destroying whole fleets, were incomplete. Fragments of alien code blocked the systems, and the physical machinery had been scavenged or destroyed long ago. Where a normal engineer would have stopped, Elias saw opportunity. He began crafting missing parts himself. Using a combination of alien tech and human engineering, he fabricated energy conduits, magnetic amplifiers, and power relays. He tested each piece carefully, sometimes rewiring it on the fly when it failed. When a conduit overloaded, he didn't panic. He rerouted energy creatively. When a magnetic coil didn't fit, he melted and reshaped it until it did. Every obstacle became a solution in disguise. One evening the eye spoke, its voice full of curiosity. You! Create! Create! Weapon? Yes, Elias said. But it's not just a weapon. It's proof. He tapped a console. Proof that humans can do what no one else dares. The AI paused, as if considering. Then, slowly, it responded. Human. Capable. Unlike creators. Elias smiled. That was high praise from an intelligence that had once served the galaxy's most elite commanders. In the deepest sections of the ship, he found a hidden compartment, a vault long sealed. Worth. Inside were prototype weapons systems abandoned centuries ago. Energy cannons, plasma projectors, and alien targeting arrays that had never been activated. The galaxy had called them too dangerous. Elias called them unfinished potential. He began assembling them piece by piece. Oh, some pieces fit perfectly. Others required human improvisation, welding broken conduits together, reshaping alien alloys, and recalibrating targeting computers. Brace. Slowly, methodically, the weapon systems hummed with life. During the work, Elias faced more challenges than just broken machines. Rogue security drones left over from the ship's military days activated unexpectedly. They saw him as an intruder, moving with lethal precision. Elias could have destroyed them. He could have shut them down and avoided the risk. But that was not his way. He reprogrammed the drones, turning their logic inside out. With a few rewrites and some clever wiring, the drones now assisted him, carrying heavy components, providing diagnostic readings, and even warning him of weak hull sections. Humans had an ability aliens didn't, the ability to see solutions where others saw only danger. By the 10th day, the Aegis was no longer just a dead ship. Its engines roared with power, its systems worked in harmony, and the AI spoke with confidence. You, human, awakening. Ship, it said, not awakening, Elias replied, wiping sweat from his brow. I'm giving it life. He tested the weapons carefully, firing microbursts to calibrate the energy cannons. Sparks flew, panels glowed. For the first time in centuries, the ship's destructive power was more than theoretical. It was real. But Elias did not celebrate. He knew the galaxy would not forgive a human alone with a weapon like this. He had seen the political currents, the empires that dismissed humans, the fleets that thought humans were weak. The Aegis would make them rethink that assumption. Grasp. Yet, for all its power, the ship remained a puzzle of ancient alien design. Elias had to adapt constantly, thinking like the original creators while using methods they would have never allowed. He reshaped energy flows, rewrote alien targeting algorithms, and even taught the AI to anticipate human thought patterns. The AI, once cautious, began to trust him. It offered suggestions, helped balance power distribution, and even warned him of potential failures. You, brave. Human, strange, it said one night after a particularly intense calibration. You do not follow the rules. That's because the rules are wrong, Elias said, leaning back in the captain's chair. Humans don't follow rules. We make them work. One night, while resting briefly in the command center, Elias looked out at the stars. The emptiness that had once seemed endless now felt different. He wasn't alone. He had the ship. He had the AI. He had human determination, the kind that could turn forgotten relics into unstoppable forces. In the corridors, lights pulsed steadily. The engines thrummed like a heartbeat. The weapons bays glowed faintly, charged with energy that had not flowed for centuries. Elias spoke softly, almost to himself. When the galaxy abandoned this ship, they thought it was dead. They thought we couldn't bring it back.
They thought humans were small, weak, incapable. They were wrong.
The AI, in a calm voice now, replied. Human, strength, unexpected, powerful. It was a moment of silent triumph. The Aegis, abandoned, broken, considered hopeless, was alive again. And it was alive because one human had refused to see failure, refused to quit, and refused to accept limits. As the days passed, Elias continued upgrades. He reinforced the hull, added stealth systems, and installed energy shields that could withstand barrages from fleets twice the size of any human vessel. He studied alien tactics through the ship's old logs, preparing strategies no alien would predict. By the 15th day, the Titan-class warship was no longer just a repaired relic. It was a living weapon, a combination of ancient alien might and human ingenuity. Elias stood in the command hall, looking at the glowing consoles. The Aegis pulsed with power beneath him, ready for the galaxy. Grasp, he felt a surge of pride, but also caution. The galaxy won't forgive this, he said aloud. Breaths. They'll send fleets. They'll try to destroy it, and me. But that's okay. He activated the ship's AI fully, giving it authority over minor systems. The AI responded instantly, efficiently. and even with something like excitement. "Ship operational, weapon ready," it said. Elias smiled. "Good. Let's see what humans can do."
He knew the real test was yet to come. Fixing systems was one thing.
Outmaneuvering fleets, outsmarting empires, and surviving attacks was another. But Elias had learned something about humans during his work. When abandoned, underestimated, and left to nothing, humans invented, adapted, and thrived. And the Aegis was about to show the galaxy exactly what that meant. As he gazed out at the endless stars, he felt a thrill unlike any he had ever known. This ship, this Titan-class warship, had been forgotten, left to die. Now, it was alive, and it would not be ignored. The galaxy had abandoned the Titan, but the human mechanic would bring it back. And when it returned, the galaxy would remember humanity forever. Elias stood in the command hall of the Aegis, hands resting lightly on the controls. The Titan-class warship pulsed with power around him. Lights glowed in corridors that had been dark for centuries. Energy hummed through conduits that had once been silent, and the AI, now fully operational, spoke clearly for the first time.
"You, human, command ready," it said.
Elias smiled, feeling the truth in those words. The ship was alive. Its weapons were primed, its shields charged, its engines powerful. But life in the void was about to test him. A warning flashed across the navigation console. Small blips at first, then growing into clusters. Grasp. Alien warships. They moved fast, organized, and relentless. "They're coming," Elias said, his voice calm, his mind already racing. "The galaxy didn't notice me yet, but it will." The ships were part of the interstellar dominion, an empire that had once commanded the Aegis and then abandoned it to die. Now they were coming to finish the job, to destroy what a human had dared to rebuild. "Shields up!" Elias commanded. The hum of the Aegis's energy shields rose, a faint blue glow surrounding the ship. The alien vessels closed in, weapons charging. Elias studied their formation. They expected a giant ship to fight like a giant, slow and predictable. They didn't know the power of human creativity. "Engage evasive maneuvers," he said. "We'll make them regret underestimating us."
The ship responded immediately.
Engines roared. Thrusters fired in unexpected sequences. The Aegis moved like a predator, weaving through the void in ways no alien pilot had predicted. Energy beams struck where the ship had been only moments before, missing by inches. Elias grinned. "They think they can hit a Titan-class ship." "From centuries past," he said aloud. "Let's show them what humans can do." He activated the weapons systems. Micro-energy pulses fired first, testing the alien ship's shields. The pulses struck, bounced, and adjusted automatically, his improvisation blending seamlessly with the AI's calculations. One by one, the smaller ships began to falter. The Aegis was too unpredictable, too fast, and its weapons were precise beyond anything the aliens had expected. "They're adapting," Elias said, watching their formation shift. "Good."
We'll give them a challenge. He fired a coordinated salvo from the main cannons.
The blasts tore through the lead ships, disabling engines and knocking shields offline. The Dominion fleet reeled back, shocked. A Titan-class warship was supposed to be slow, vulnerable to coordinated attacks. Yet this one moved with human unpredictability. The AI spoke again, almost proudly.
"Human strategy, fire."
Effective, lethal. Elias laughed. "Told you. Humans don't follow rules." We make them work. The Dominion sent reinforcements, larger ships armed with heavy plasma cannons. Bylais didn't panic. He knew the ship, he trusted the eye, and most importantly, he trusted himself. Breaths was, "Divide and distract," he said. "We'll pick them off one by one." The Aegis executed the plan flawlessly. It split the alien formation, dodging concentrated fire while targeting isolated ships. Using rapid bursts from the energy cannons, Elias disabled engines, tore hulls, and forced enemies to retreat. The smaller ships tried to flank him, but the Titan responded with creative countermeasures. Plasma projectors fired in arcs designed to force the enemy into collisions. The AI predicted movements, compensating for alien tactics that would have overwhelmed even a full fleet. Through it all, Elias remained calm. Every move was deliberate. Every shot measured. Breath. He was not just fighting a fleet. He was teaching the galaxy a lesson it had long forgotten. Never underestimate a human. Hours passed in tense combat. The Aegis danced among stars and debris, firing, dodging, and outsmarting the Dominion forces. Ships that had once laughed at the idea of a single human commanding a Titan-class warship now burned silently in space, leaving trails of debris behind them. Finally, the remaining ships began to retreat. The commanders realized that they could not predict this strange human ingenuity. The Aegis had survived and dominated. Elias allowed himself a moment of relief. The adrenaline of combat slowly faded, leaving pride and satisfaction in its place. He had done what the galaxy said was impossible. He had taken a forgotten ship and turned it into a force to be reckoned with. The AI spoke, its voice filled with respect now. Human victory. Remarkable. Fleet, berated human. Elias nodded. They'll remember us now. The galaxy won't forget humans again. But victory brought no comfort. Des. Elias knew the Dominion would regroup. They would send larger fleets. They would try again. And this time, the challenge would be greater.
We need allies, he said to the AI. The galaxy isn't going to let us have this quietly.
Operation, strategy, and backup. And we need to show others that humans can be trusted.
Alliances.
Feasible. Strategy. Adaptable. Humans. Unpredictable. Effective. Exactly! That's why we survive. That's why we thrive. That's why humans will never be ignored. He spent the next hours studying alien tactics, reviewing fleet movements, and designing defense patterns and attack strategies that no Dominion commander would anticipate. The ship was more than weapons now. It was a thinking, adaptable war machine, blending centuries-old alien design with human creativity and intuition. As night, or what passed for night inside the ship, fell, Elias walked through the corridors. He inspected engines, checked weapons bays, and listened to the AI hum quietly. Every system worked. Every challenge overcome. Wrath.
Yet, he did not feel complacent. The galaxy had abandoned this ship once, but it would not forgive the human who had awakened it.
Powerful enemies. And they would come. He reached the command hall, looking out into the endless void. Breaths. Stars twinkled silently, indifferent to the battles below. Yet Elias felt a thrill of anticipation. He had proven humans could rebuild what others thought lost, could fight where others would fall, and could outthink opponents who considered them weak. The Dominion fleets might return bigger and stronger. But Elias was ready. The Aegis was ready. Humanity was ready. And when they returned, they would find that humans were not to be underestimated. The ship's eye spoke once more, softly, almost like a companion. Human, you, remarkable, right? Ship, alive, weapon ready. Elias nodded, eyes fixed on the stars. Good, let them come. We'll show them exactly why humans survive. For the first time in centuries, the Titan-class warship was not just alive. It was a symbol of human resilience, ingenuity, and courage. And somewhere across the galaxy, whispers began. Stories of a Titan-class warship rebuilt by a single human, defeating fleets on its first mission. Stories that would grow into legend. Humans had been underestimated. They were small, fragile, overlooked. But now the galaxy would start to learn a simple truth. When a human is left to nothing, they create everything. And when a human commands a forgotten Titan, the galaxy had better watch out. The stars were quiet that night, but the galaxy was far from peaceful. News had spread of the Titan-class Aegis, rebuilt by a single human mechanic, defeating fleets on its first mission. Rumors traveled faster than light. A human, a Titan-class ship, unstoppable. Elias knew the whispers would bring attention, both good and bad. The Dominion, humiliated and enraged, was already gathering fleets larger than before. Other empires watched carefully, some curious, others fearful. Humanity's small colonies were at the edge of observation, unprepared for what was coming. Elias stood in the command hall, hands resting on the controls, eyes fixed on the endless void outside. The Aegis thrummed beneath him, fully operational, fully alive and ready for whatever the galaxy would throw at it. "We can't fight them all alone," he said aloud, speaking to himself and the ship's AI. "You?" "Alliance is possible," the AI responded. Its voice was calm now, confident. "Humans, capable, inspire others." Elias nodded. That was the plan. The Aegis was more than a weapon. It was a beacon. If humanity could survive and thrive, they could inspire other civilizations who had been oppressed, abandoned, or underestimated. Over the next few days, Elias worked tirelessly. He repaired the ship further, upgraded shields, and improved weapons targeting systems. But he also worked on communication channels, sending carefully coded signals to friendly or neutral civilizations, offering knowledge, protection, and the chance to ally with humans. It was a gamble. If the wrong eye saw those signals, the Dominion would strike first. But Elias knew humans had never survived by waiting for permission. They survived by acting, by thinking differently, by turning disadvantage into advantage. Finally, the day came. The Dominion's fleet appeared on the sensors, a massive armada, far larger than before. Their ships were sleek, advanced, and deadly. They were confident. They thought they had learned from their first encounter. They thought the human mechanic was clever but fragile. They were wrong. Elias activated the Aegis's engines. The ship moved with grace and speed, weaving between stars, using gravitational pulls and debris fields to its advantage. The Dominion fleet fired, but the shields held. Plasma bursts struck harmlessly, and energy pulses returned fire with devastating precision. "This time they won't underestimate us," Elias said. The battle began in earnest. The Aegis was no longer alone. Small allied ships, civilizations Elias had contacted, arrived inspired by his signals. They were few, but coordinated. The Aegis led them like a conductor leading an orchestra. Elias fired the main cannons, aiming with unerring accuracy. Alien ships were disabled before they could react, some destroyed outright. The Aegis moved unpredictably, dodging concentrated fire, striking from angles no Dominion commander had ever considered. The Dominion tried to surround the ship. Their strategy was tight, precise, and ruthless. But Elias anticipated their moves, adapting faster than any machine could predict. He used the ship's ancient technology creatively, combining energy bursts, plasma diversions, and sudden thrust maneuvers. The Dominion's largest ships were crippled, forced to retreat, unable to match the human-driven Titan. Amid the chaos, Elias saw the true power of humans: ingenuity. One of the Dominion's battleships attempted to flank from behind, expecting the Aegis to follow predictable paths. Elias diverted power to the auxiliary engines, creating a sudden surge that threw the enemy off balance. The AI calculated targeting and fired the secondary weapons, taking out the flanking ship in a single strike. The smaller Allied ships cheered across comms. Psh! Incredible! We've never seen tactics like this. Elias allowed himself a brief smile. Humans were underestimated not because they were weak, but because their methods could not be predicted. They survived by thinking, adapting, and daring where others followed rigid rules. Hours passed in relentless combat. The Dominion fleet shrank, losing ships to clever ambushes and unexpected maneuvers. The Aegis moved through space like a phantom, every shot precise, every dodge calculated yet unpredictable. Finally, the Dominion's flagship, a massive vessel with hundreds of smaller escorts, approached. Elias knew this was the real test. The flagship had weapons designed to penetrate the strongest shields, engines capable of catching even the fastest ships. This battle would decide the galaxy's perception of humanity. Elias took a deep breath. "We end this now," he said. He activated the prototype weapons system he had rebuilt. Energy cannons far beyond current galactic technology. The Aegis glowed as power surged through its core, heating the plasma projectors to levels the Dominion had thought impossible. The flagship fired first. Massive beams tore through space toward the Aegis. Elias moved the ship unpredictably, using gravity fields, debris, and thrusters to dodge the attack. Breath. Shields absorbed what they could, and the rest was skillful timing, a human touch guiding the machine. Then, Elias fired. The cannons released bursts of energy that tore through the flagship's shields, striking weak points that only a human mind could predict. The flagship shuddered, sparks and debris flying. Another volley hit its engines, crippling movement. The remaining Dominion ships, seeing their flagship in danger, attempted to regroup. Elias anticipated their maneuver, leading them into an ambush. The Aegis fired again, each shot precise, each strike calculated for maximum effect. By the end, the Dominion fleet was in full retreat. The galaxy had witnessed something new, a human-driven Titan defeating impossible odds. The Allied ships cheered. The AI spoke with pride. "Human, remarkable, commander, leader."
Elias leaned back in the command chair, exhausted but exhilarated. He knew this victory was more than a battle.
It was proof. Proof that humans could survive, adapt, and lead. Proof that humanity's ingenuity could turn the tide even against the strongest empires. But he also knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would remember. Some would fear, some would respect, some would challenge. But humans had taken the first step in showing that they were not to be ignored. Elias activated communications. Across the void, messages were sent to human colonies, to neutral civilizations, and even to enemy observers. The message was simple: humans are here. Humans survive. Humans create what the galaxy abandons. The Aegis, glowing in the darkness of space, was more than a ship. It was a symbol, a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and resilience. Elias spoke softly to the eye, almost as if sharing a private thought. We've done more than fight a battle. We've shown them who we are.
Bration.
The AI responded with a calm certainty. Human, legacy,
Alive, unstoppable.
And Elias knew it was true.
The galaxy had abandoned the Titan-class Aegis. It had left it to die. But one human had rebuilt it, turned it into a weapon, and used it to change the course of history.
In the days that followed, the Aegis became a legend.
A story spread of the human mechanic who had rebuilt a forgotten warship and defeated fleets that were considered unbeatable. Operations. Whispers told of humans who were underestimated, dismissed, and ignored, and yet survived, thrived, and led. Elias did not rest on his victory. He continued improving the ship, training others, and preparing for the next challenge. He knew the galaxy would try again, but humanity was no longer small, weak, or insignificant. Humans had proven their ingenuity, creativity, and courage. They had turned abandonment into triumph, and the Titan-class Aegis, alive and powerful, floated among the stars, a beacon of what humans could achieve when they refused to give up, refused to follow rules blindly, and refused to accept limits. Elias looked out at the stars, feeling a quiet pride. Oh, humans had been underestimated. The galaxy had doubted them. But now, humanity's place in the stars was clear.
If humans can rebuild the forgotten, if humans can create where others fail,
But dissect them. And somewhere across the infinite void, a whisper carried on the light of distant stars. Humans are unstoppable.